test. Hello. I don't hear myself. It's probably a good thing. So I made a new class. Let me make a little thing. Cover this up here. So yeah, okay, I made a new class, vertex buffers, and its main objective is to use it, I think, in the draw function. Well, that was lowercase b in my case. So yeah, I'll have to create a vertex buffers object somewhere, an instance, and this is my window class, so just going to have it here, vertex buffers. Bind, I suppose, and then of course command buffer, and that's it. Because this information then is contained in the new vertex buffers class. So let's delete this. So that's wishful thinking, you know, I'm just want to have this new abstract object, and then I call bind command buffer, and ta-da! Also means that I don't have this. Wait, that is already in vertex buffers? What? I already have an vertex buffers. Okay, probably have to replace it then. Oh right, yeah, well that has to go, or should be replaced rather. And this is in window.h, not bad. Hi Len. Well, while I'm here I might as well do that, so I'm going to have a new class called vulkan vertex buffers, and I'll just give it that name. And this must be deleted. And this too. Actually, this should be put on its own there. Let's put it here. I can delete all of this. Now that cleans up, doesn't it? Yeah, I have to save it somewhere. So let's go first to the new file. paste it here before I lose it. I don't know, this doesn't read very well. It's just a name, bind, but usually bind becomes for the vertex buffers. Yeah, I can't turn it around because this command buffer here is literally a Vulkan API object, pointer 2. So I'll have to do it like this for now. Maybe later I rename it or whatever. So yeah, what is the type of command buffer? This piece of code, by the way, really has to be rewritten, or it's long overdue. Oh no, it's not long overdue, it's like I just couldn't fix it before. It's one of the last things I need to do some serious work on. As you can see, of the fix me and the hack mention, and the fact that all this code isn't even indented. It's not indented to draw attention to the fact that it is a hack-ish, yeah. So it looks really dirty. The type of command buffer is that of frame resources command buffer, which is handle command buffer. Or a handle is in Vulkan, I suppose. Vulkan handle command bar, really? Yep, that's what it is. It's in namespace handle to make clear that it is just a wrapper around the handle, I suppose. So the size is super small. In other words, you can pass it by value instead of by reference. It also automatically converts to a command buffer if you try to use it that way. Or if you try to use it as a pointer, you'll get the command buffer pointer. No, I don't think that command buffer is a handle, otherwise this would never work. VK command buffer, what is that? It's this thing, I suppose, which has it is just a handle. Ah, okay. That's so the Vulkan API C++ wrapper is it's a wrapper around the C handle, and then adds a few memo functions, as you can see. Well, a lot. Turns it into a class, as it were. And that's what we are accessing here. Anyway, the thing is small in size. And like I said before, I don't like autos, so let's make this a little bit more clear. You know, it's nice to have the handle in front of it, because otherwise you would worry about what is happening here. Command buffer. It sounds like a big thing. Right, that's type. And we are passing the type to bind of my new M vertex buffers. So let's create that. There's the old junk. I'm going to have a void bind which takes command buffer. Right, and that then has to do something like this. I don't have that anymore though, at least. This came from the header, I think, this part. Let's put that here. And this came from the .cxx file. And I want to do this now. Might as well do it in line. First binding is set to 0, hard coded. Not sure if I want to change that. Okay, now I need a vector of these things and then followed by a vector of zeros. And I already decided that I want to have all of that in a single vector. I say, well, the type is different. Isn't the type different? Must be. This is a vulkan handle. A buffer. Yeah, maybe a bit too much. The reason, well, you have to do this binding every frame. So I was like, let's put all the memory together. So hopefully they end up in a single cache line, and that would be slightly faster. But the type is different. So let's first implement it as two vectors, not to go all premature optimization ish. Then basically I do have two vectors here, which I can just pass. The bind vertex buffers here takes that's not the one. Well, I might as well use this one now I think about it. Simply a binding count and then pointer to buffer and offsets. There's no reason I would use the other interface, which is defined here, taking array proxy for both. My thing is a wrapper anyway already. Okay, so let's use this one. That means I have to pass an uint, it's the binding count. Just copy it. That's what I have to pass. No, of course I forgot if there was anything else. I don't think. No, that's all the data there is, so that should be it. And since it is being done every frame, I do have voice, right? Just yesterday I did. I'm not listening to it myself. Testing. Oh, yeah, I see that on the VU. I do have voice. Okay, so let's add a private member here to this class, because I have to do this every frame. So I just, want to wrap it from. And note these are both pointers, so I can put them in into a single file, single allocation, single memory allocation. I can make a void pointer array and then just cast stuff. Why not? Pointers. Insane laughter. So there you go. Put it. Hey, Omnic. It's the premature optimization day. So yeah. Well, wait. There we go. Binding count. That was the first one, and then we need to pass this. Well, in my case, it's really just VK. VK buffer pointer. And got the cast, and that's a reinterpret cast, right? Static cast? I think it's static cast. And you're going from a void pointer to a buffer pointer. I think it's a static cast. Come on, pointers. Yeah. Yeah. Now we have to make a default constructor for this thing, I think. This is a bit vague, default. Do you know what that does? I'm not even sure default constructors needed though. Yeah, it is needed. Let's just begin with no count and then yeah, we don't, might as well use a null pointer. I'm afraid I have to remember now myself how large this thing is though. No I don't. Let's just make that M binding count equal to the actual size. But if I do that, I have to reallocate it every time I add something, but that's probably not that bad. I think I only add something to this like once or once during the whole program while it is initializing. And then we read it every frame, but so with a binding count of 0, I need an allocation of size 0. which is not even possible, I think. I think, yeah, if I make it a null pointer, I can use realloc. That takes a null pointer. So we go totally C here. C instead of C++. But yeah, that's kind of forced if I want. Now, well, forced is a bit much. I could use an allocator and fancy stuff, but since I have two different types in one allocation block, I feel that this is the easiest way to do it. See the description row. I'm going to delete this. Now this function now is assuming certain things, namely that, yeah, these private members here are initialized the way I want. I think I can delete all of this as well now. If you ask me, you can delete everything except that is not that easy. I mean, I used to have this thing here, vertex buffers, and that was actually an AI thread safe, but it doesn't matter, vector of memory buffer. Well, it looks like, you know, instances and stuff. So now I don't no longer have this. Isn't that a problem? That's probably a problem. If I only store this, I really have to reconstruct this vector every time, which I definitely do not want to do. But maybe you still have to store the buffer to keep something alive. Let's see what it is. VK. Oh, it's something I wrote myself as well. Vulkan memory buffer. Let's see what it is. Oh yeah, that definitely represents the whole buffer. I mean, I need to keep the allocation alive. See, if I destroy this, so I say I have a memory buffer and I don't keep it, then destroy will be called. So that would destroy the buffer. But maybe the only information that it is using is the handle. Where's my destroy? Excusez-moi, destroy. Oh, it's in line. Unfortunately, we have to pass also the allocation handle. which I suppose makes sense. And I need to know the logical device pointer. Yeah, well, okay, let's keep it around. On Nick, I'm using Arch, which is difficult to install, I think. Fedora is for companies, isn't it? Yeah, if you have enough time, then I would you could consider Arch, but it is time consuming to install. So it's going to keep my buffers, objects at least. I don't think I need to make it thread safe anymore. Should not be needed, because I think that I will want to add to this for each upload. So vertex is when I actually have a vertex buffer, including the data. So right now my problem, CQ bug, is that I'm uploading the same vertex buffer twice, same data. And then there is a race condition between the two threads or tasks that add this buffer object here to this vector. Even though there is a mutex that needs to be locked in order to add it, it's still not certain which one is added first. So the index changes index into this vector. It's a bit random. That was our last problem. So yeah, we don't have that anymore. I'm not going to add a mutex anymore, I think. Let's just store it. I hate the word actual. It's a stop word. In this case, I have the feeling that maybe it's the correct use. I wanted to use the word actual to say like the actual buffers, as in that if you destroy this, then the buffer's gone. How do you say that correctly? I don't know how how to say it otherwise. Yeah, so this is the real thing, and this is just for fast access every frame. I hope it describes like this accurately, clear enough, whatever. And then all of this can be gone. So now we begin with nothing, and if we call bind, then we do something that's probably not even allowed. Binding 0 buffers. Now you could say, is it not allowed? Then I do if binding count is larger than 0. But even that, it's done every frame. Oh no, and if every frame 60 times per second. Like that, I don't know. I will do it when it's necessary. Because it probably isn't noticeable. But why would I do an if the if is never ever being used? Or of course I could put the binding count as the first element in the same memory allocation. I probably should do that. Uh-oh. That's really dirty. No, that's nonsense. This instance, I guess, yeah, well, I don't know. Let's not think about it. Although, you know, if it was the first thing in this memory allocation, then there was no good reason not to read it. I don't know. Okay, so now I need a way to add the buffers. Yeah. Okay, let's look at it from the other direction. I made this. These are my vertex buffer generators. I want to add them to that thing. That only has to be done once, so I definitely do not want to do that from a characteristic. That's why they are all element of my window class anyway. So what is related to vertex buffers and is executed once and is part of this window class? I would say that is create vertex buffers. Well, this is the wrong place to call that from, but we're going to fix that it is only called once. This really should be only called once. It's totally in the wrong place, is it? Yeah, it's totally in the wrong place. This is inside a characteristic. we definitely should not do that here. So here's my function, but I still don't know where to call it from. Let's look again at what it is doing. Oh yeah, currently it is being called with characteristic range that calls it as argument, which we then use to access vertex shader input sets, which is just a list of things we also should not have done, but in the end it's our vertex buffer generators. So I want to run over all the vertex buffer generators and do something. And now I do not have them as a list, really. I just have two different objects. Let's see. Percentage. That's the end of the function. Why not just change this function in create vertex buffer and then call it twice, once for each? Yeah. It is window.h though. See what it exactly does. You get a chunk size and count and then calculate something. Then we get access to the vertex buffers, which does not exist anymore, and then we push back something to it. Then we have a new buffer, which is needed to actually generate the data and write it to the GPU. The new buffer on the GPU. Totally creation, as it were. And what am I using of the window class? Nothing, I think, just m vertex buffers. So we grab for m underscore, see, m vertex buffers. That's all. So this whole function does not need to be here. Maybe we should start removing this. Well, I do call a logical device, which is a member function of the current class. Oops, resource owner, this. Let's see what the resource owner actually takes. Synchronous window pointer, okay. When I have that, I also have the logical device, so maybe I should pass that then. Okay, we do need a pointer to the base class of our current class, the window. For the rest, nothing. Let's see, Control T, nothing. Yeah, so I split it up, cut it in pieces, turn it inside out, and then it changes into a member function of my new class. So we can delete it. Boing. No more. And then I have to go to my new class. But probably from this console. So it's still in my editor buffer now. I added it to vulkan vi vulkan slash vertex buffer. It's big. Paste it here. And the argument is changed to vulkan synchronous window. I'll just call that, well, owning window, I guess. It's just like everywhere else. And it was now singular. Yeah, I doubt that. So, current class is now vertex buffers. I don't want that anymore, I think. No, the first 3 lines should be okay. Now, cutting it into pieces would mean that we just add one thing at a time. So let's add it as a second argument. I guess I can use that. And I'll pass it as a const reference. Wait, this is not const, it's just a pointer. Why is that not const? Are we going to write to it? I don't think so. I'll try const reference. So instead of vertex shader input set the pointer, we now have the vertex shader input set the reference. And I'm just going to call this hello. Wait, this is being done only once. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, different. I cannot really remove that for loop here. Seems nonsensical. So I will have to pass a vector here. And if I do that, it must be pointers. Still trying that. Now the rest then should work. Oh, I don't have this. And that's my new local variable, isn't it? I'm just gonna complain now that I still have it open, I think. I don't. Okay. Hey, fat man, yeah. Let me turn on the light here because I don't see my keyboard. Okay. Oh yeah, so this is or was a vector, which now is called mmemory. This is not going to work because you're no longer in my window class. I'm going to eat my dinner, a roomboter appeltaartje. Synchronous window has it. I suppose this is a debug name prefix is private. Not sure. Just check it. Public. Oh, makes it easier. Probably thinking, well, it's debug code anyway. So that adds a owning window pointer between square brackets behind it. So I know which you can see from the debug name, the vulkan debug name of this memory of the buffer thing, which window it belongs to. I turned away my microphone because I was eating, sorry. There's more to eat though. Okay, now I'm getting crazy. It is being done inside loop. This stuff is being done inside the bloody loop. So at some point, I added a Pons reference instead of a vector. Oh, no, it is a vector. Already used undo there. No, yeah, let's redo everything and then. Oh wait. No, I want to remove the for loop. I want to remove the for loop. So I don't want this to be a vector. Let's just let it be a cross reference. Nope. I hate the wrapping here though. Maybe I should start working with my eyes getting bad, so I don't think I will ever switch back to a larger, smaller font. Might as well start to work with this size. Maybe something like this. What do you think? For that, I don't know. Beep, beep. Not the pipeline owner. No, I don't have the pipeline owner anymore. Seriously. Oh, just to keep it alive. The input set pointed to by M input set will be owned by the object derived from this. My cake is sticking to the bottom. Well, that's all. I'm keeping alive. Characteristic range. Because this pointer is pointing to it. But that's no longer the case. Let me turn the microphone again. That is no longer the case because that is simply this argument. The input set argument, the first argument to the constructor, which is that which is indeed a pointer. It's not a pointer. Well, it must be a pointer. I make it a pointer, and I'm pretty sure that normally that is just owned by the owning window, hence it is called owning window. So there is nothing to keep alive here. I can just delete it, but maybe I have other code that still needs it. I'm not sure. Control top. Yeah, does it look like it? Although I'm very surprised not even to see my current code. This is a different test. What am I doing wrong here? What about GSX? Oh, still only one. What the? That's plain weird. Weird. This code already existed. Why am I not seeing this code when I grab for it? Pure insanity. I have no clue. Let's just run into the compiler error then. If something else is hiding as well, I'm going to remove it. No more pipeline owner. Being passed to the vertex shader input set feeder. Hmm. On second thought, my code is only intended to work on Linux. But most of it is just cross-platform, I guess. Vulkan is. I don't know where you saw GNU keywords, but that's not the reason why I say that it is Linux only. It's Linux only because I'm using my libraries written in the last 10 years, which use stuff like vertex and EPOL, which are Linux only. You should be able to port it to Windows if you are an expert in Windows. So while this thing exists, whatever this is pointing to must exist, of course. So I deleted this stuff, but really I must make sure that my window is not deleted before this. I thought just that it was already kept alive. No, not so sure anymore. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wait for this task to finish before destroying the window. So the task that has a pointer to a member of the window is going to be finished before the window is destructed, so that works. Okay, I think I finished morphing this function. I don't think I added a header for it yet. Which in turn means that this needs a for declaration for the synchronous window, and this as well. I don't want indentation for namespaces. Show it editor. This is a class, isn't it? It's a class. On that topic, need command buffer to be included. Command buffer.h, which drags in nothing. It's good. Well, almost nothing. Just the whole Vulkan API. Okay. Yeah, I suppose this is already dragged in. Yeah, it's dragged in, of course. It's being, it's more or less dragged in by the Vulkan API, because it uses that a lot. We are inside vulkan, so I don't need to do all of that. And I have to rethink how much indentation I want to have here. Oh, that looks good actually. And then that must be removed here. Now we need a lot of other headers, because we're actually going to use a few of them, although I'm not sure which. Okay, we call this, so we need the header for that one. Which is sheet of builder. And I don't think I added vector. We have a vector here. And we have memory buffer. Which drags in allocator. Yeah, whatever. That's the header. No. Yeah, I'm calling logical device on the window, so we have to synchronize window. And we have copy data to buffer. And we have this. Chino builder, vertex shader input sets. Oh wait, shader build. I don't know where to put it. Anywhere. It's roughly in the order of dependence to debug at the bottom, but then this standard headers go. Standard headers do not depend on anything above it. Boost does not depend on anything above it. Vulkan does not depend on anything above it. That's the right order. Okay, now I started losing what I was doing. Can I already compile it? I can implement this function, I suppose, before I accidentally leave it empty. So we have now 3 members where you can print. Yeah, I'm not going to print this. Let's just print the pointer. Not going to print the contents or all the content is already in memory. Oh, there's something I've got. I've got to update these two whenever a memory is changed. So every time this function is called, and therefore we push something back to a memory, we have new stuff that we can add. Yeah, a memory. I'm no longer locking a mutex here, so the whole scope can be gone. What shall I do here? How about I have a peek at what I need to update again? These two. So binding count is incremented. And then M pointers being changed, as in reallocated to make more room. Is that a standard function these days? I think so. It should be. Let's look it up. Realloc. Like that. So let's look it up anyway. What is this? Pointer is a null pointer, the behavior is the same as calling malloc. So that I'm using that. So we want to store 2 extra pointers for each binding count. So it's 2 times the current binding count times the size of a voice pointer. Yeah, size off even. That's the total memory that I want. I don't think I should be worried about moving my memory here, right here, you know, like bang, reallocate might move everything. from the point of view that this end pointers is pointing to something that is being used every frame, because I'm initializing it. I'm in the process of initializing it. If end pointers is already being used while I'm not even done initializing it, then something is wrong. So I think it's kind of the user's responsibility to make sure that all the calls to create a vertex buffer are being done before the random loop starts using this. And therefore it's not necessary to make a thread safe. I mean, not at this point. Like, oh my god, I'm changing endpointers. I mean, endpointers should not be in use right now. I still have to take care of that, but elsewhere, not at this point. So we have this a few times, and then VK device size. I think it's taking up too many lines. I think standard move is the one that can move overlapping memory. The objects may overlap, yeah. So this is destination, source count. Destination, whatever, source, I don't know yet. The count I know, that is binding count -1. Because we didn't add our new value yet. Let's just use a void pointer. Do we move everything up one? I guess move works with a size of 0. So the first time we get that binding count is set to 1. Then we allocate God knows how many bytes. Okay, 2 times 8, I guess, 16 bytes, and then see you on Nick. Sorry, I didn't see you go. So then this becomes equal to m pointers the first time, and then we move nothing. And then the next time we increment it to 2, so we get m pointers plus 1. That's indeed the first device size when in binding counts was still 1. And we move 1. And we started there and the end there. Yeah, everything looks okay to me. That is source, comma, destination, right? No, it's destination, comma, source. Excuse me, what? I don't want to move it backwards, I want to move it upwards. This just moves from here to there. Okay, so let's now rename the stuff. New device size. No, that's nonsense, sorry. Well, I want to rename it, but it's not the new one, it's the new first device size location. I want to get rid of this -1 here. Yeah, no, okay, I'll leave it like this, but this, actually I thought I could use this now to write to, but it's not true, of course. I'm gonna change this back, because I can use it. Let's call it the old end then. I want to write to this place the new buffer pointer, which is correct. But I'm using it doubly. I'm using it then as the new location for it's, oh my god, how shall I call it? Buffer end. So before we do this, we have this layout where the binding count is equal to the number of things we have here. Now then I increment the binding count. Then we reallocate it. And then I say after realloc, you need to move the VK device sizes in memory one up. No, no, it seems to make more sense, I think. So we're moving from buffer end, and well, we already incremented it, so I have to subtract here one up. And now I can write to buffer end. The new buffer pointer. That does not look right. So not just it's the old M buffer end, so it's just like that. I think this works, and if it doesn't, then it will be very obvious, so I'll just test it out, I guess. Let's go over it one more time though. New buffer, I have that, and I write it to buffer end, which is set to endpoints with binding count before incrementing it. So the first case, it's okay. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one are also okay. And then the distance is plus and binding count after incrementing it. So that works the first time. and then the next time as well, etc. So yeah, that must be good. Okay, now we still have to call this function. And I still have to figure out from where. Could call it theoretically from the constructor of my window, but I don't think so, because at that moment I don't even have a logical device, I think. I'm going to call it from, of course, create vertex buffers. And then I will just have to fix the point where that is being called from. Scary shit. Oh, deleted. I have to re-add it, I guess. No, that doesn't exist. Okay, let's go for vertex buffers. And then we have virtual function somewhere. Yeah, create textures. Pretty sure I can create vertex buffers before I can create textures. What else do we have? Whoa, is that everything? A lot of textures. Can just look for override. Register shader templates. Create graphics pipelines. Well, that's way down the line, right? Frame rate, render, draw, and view. Yeah. Start at the top. Render. Create a render graph. Maximum number. Create textures. Let's put it in front of this. I'm going to make it a virtual function. Now I have to do something with these things. that function became a lot simpler. Okay, then I have to create this function. And it looks like create textures, but just a little earlier. And I have that the eye. Empty one for the render graph. It's a test suit or something. The out fatal. Synchronous window, probably. Creating graphics pipelines before the vertex buffers. That doesn't seem right. Gonna put it here. Create vertex buffers. So that is in front of register shader templates. Is that the vertical function? Yep. So you have to move it here. But I think that the shader templates has to do with what is above here. So let's move it a little bit further up. So below this function. Create textures. That's below create textures. What's with this order? And is this one not private then? Also private. Oh well. Vague. That's what it is. And then I had a lot of other places where the create textures appears. So we moved it after that. I don't care anymore. Certainly not for this one. Override. Nothing. The render graph. Now we have yeah, and it seems on I don't know. I have to fix this application anyway. I haven't compiled it in a very long time. Same for this one. I'm not even adding it here, I think, because I really need to change this. It should be going here, but what the hell is needed? Shall I add it already? Because now I know that it has to go here. Oops. That was frame resources. We get the same thing here. And suddenly I didn't. Okay, forget it. Eight, 9. Create textures, we already have that one. Singleton button has its quirks here. I guess this one needs to be empty as well. I mean, who needs vertex buffers if you don't create any pipelines? Boo-boo. Okay, still one thing missing, apart from me still having more apple cake. Oh, I typed my password in. No, I didn't. Okay, now if you read this, it says this should be called once after calling all add vertex input binding calls. Which are these? That's why it is being done here. What the hell is that? Now if I make this working, and it doesn't work yet, then this would work. Because I first add the square and then I add the top bottom positions in my create. Let's do it like this, make C tags. So first add square and then I add M bottom positions. There is a difference between the two that a pipeline needs to know. I think therefore that the order is important. But okay, the order is the same here, so everything should work. However, one of the reasons I write this Vulkan engine is because I have such a bad memory that I don't like it, that I have to remember to do this if I already do it somewhere else. Now this is only talking about the square, and this is talking about top bottom position. But those are the same types as this. See, M square is squares and bottom position is top bottom positions. So I already have the types after calling this, and I already have the order. The only thing I don't have is that now these vertex buffers are vertically completely independent of any pipeline, and you kind of have to tell the pipeline that you want this format. But why not simply pass one of the possibilities? Why not just pass M vertex buffers? It is possible to create multiple vertex buffers objects. So this is a Vulkan vertex buffers. I added that today, this class, during this stream. And I can make more of them, and then I can bind one of or the other. But they have to be compatible in a certain way. So if they are compatible, so I can bind one or the other, then it doesn't really matter what I tell the pipeline. I just tell the pipeline one of them. Why is this purple? Oh, wait. Not purple anymore. Magic. No, it's private, right? Or not? No, totally private. It should be private. Let's add an accessor word and just pass it to my pipeline thing. Accessor. Only one accessor. Okay, so now I have my vertex buffers, which we can call from why can I not remember? Add vertex, I guess, something. Yeah, input binding. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to call vertex buffers on my window. We're going to pass that to a function which is adding vertex input bindings. Add vertex input bindings, vertex buffers. Right? Yes. Okay, so I don't have to do this anymore. I mean, yeah, well, this is gonna be the same everywhere. So it's easier to remember than having to do that. Plus I have to only make a change now in one place, in the vertex buffers function that I'm calling here. I want to change it. So add vertex input binding is going to go away. Which is a rather difficult function. Let's not just delete it just yet. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, it could work if I can somehow get that entry back, the actual type. But at the moment, well, we are just storing pointers to a base class. All the cake is all gone now, beer. I should stop buying that. I mean, I never buy it because it's way too expensive. But today I came in the shop and they were 50% off. So for like €2.50 or something, I could buy delicious apple cake. But I think the amount of unhealthy fat that I just ate it does not weigh up against the endorphins that it released while eating it. I should not even eat it when I get it for free. I mean, it's not even about the money, it's just too unhealthy. Next time I see it for 50% off, I will not buy it anymore. We talked about the brain yesterday. I think it's like the first time I ate it, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. Which is just simply because of the fat that is in it. Roomboter, I don't know how to say that in English. And then the 10 or 20 times that you buy it afterwards, you remember that first feeling. That's why you buy it. But the feeling is no longer the same. So you keep buying it long after it doesn't taste that good anymore. Strange. Well, Many Shekel, the recipe for the apple cake, I can't cook, plus then I would be busy with it for 2 hours, which would be a very, very expensive apple cake, way more than what it costs in the shop, and it would still be unhealthy, so I would make it myself. How can I replace this? So I remember from yesterday that the only thing that is being used from entry is its size. If that's true, then I don't have to do this. Well, the size and the rate, what is it called? Vertex input rate. The vertex input rate is important, and the size of entry is important. That I know for sure. What about the rest here? This is running over all the members of the struct entry. I might need it for the declaration. Oh. Add vertex attributes. Yeah, I need to call this. Those are the shader variables. So this is going to add declaration and do pre-processing for everything that is in my in the structs that I put into my vertex buffers. Totally necessary. So I do need to call this function. What I might not need is the instance. I might only need the type. It is pushed back here, but this is difficult. Yeah, so it's only being used here to call to chunk size and the input rate. The chunk size is the size of the entry. So I can replace this vector, but I still have to call. Still have to call this, but that only depends on entry. Sorry. No, not entirely. Binding is also determined here. Although that is the index into the vector that we bind, which is now no longer related to the point where we call this from. What is happening to this binding then? Whoops, it is passed. Vertex attribute. So it's inserted into this. I have two asserts. One is for arrays and the other one is for non-arrays. Copy vertex input attribute descriptions. Get some binding again. Yeah, okay, well that binding number is simply the order. So let's say squares is 0 and the top bottom things were added next, so that's 1. So okay, I need that information as well, but that's not the hardest part then, because it's just simply the order in which I add stuff. Yeah, still need the type. Once I have the type, well, maybe the binding is something that I cannot get this way. The rest I would be able to still get if I have just the type. Okay, I'm not sure how to continue here. I would have to order. Okay, and an additional problem is basically that I do not have the instance anymore, but the binding I can get a different way. So I would have to get rid of this vector here and the changed stuff. Instead of using changed, don't understand why this, and this one is another one changed. These two things. On the location is something. Format offset. Oh my god. Many shekel. Yeah, I mean, when I was 12, I started with GFA Basic. And I did assembly and stuff like that. But nothing that I can really remember anymore. This is very hard. Rewriting is probably not hard, but in order to rewrite it, I need to understand what I need to do, which means I need to have an overview of everything, and I totally lack that here. I think it might be a good, I'm not sure if it's good, but taking smaller steps, and then try to get it to work with a small step, instead of trying to do all of this at once. I'm not even sure if that is going to work out. I won't have the binding. Yeah, let's make the step even smaller. Let's go straight for something that compiles again and works. Because, and then you can think about this again. So the current binding function actually takes a reference to a vertex shader input set. I didn't change that yet. I only changed the syntax here. So before this was using m square. Then we had m top bottom, simply like that, but then it was part of this class, and now it's part of window, plus I only have to call it, I should only call it once and not more than once, I think. Is that nonsensical? I'm not sure. So I'll add an accessor for now, I guess, and then try to do it this way. But I would definitely be worried if this is changing something that cannot be done twice. Yeah, well, maybe it will work. Yeah. And now I have a const reference. And I'm trying to pass the const reference to add vertex input binding, which takes a reference. So at least I have to change this into a const, and then I don't know if that works anymore. But we'll see, I suppose. And I have the forward declaration somewhere. And if it absolutely cannot be const, then that is very strange, of course, because I should be calling it only once. I'm calling it twice or even more often. And then I would be changing the same object, which is now really the same instance. I'll be changing the same instance multiple times, so that's not acceptable. Let me see what the thing is being used. Well, that's a const function, INT. Okay, I'm pushing it back as a pointer probably, not as a const pointer. And why is that? So this then should become a const pointer. Otherwise it wouldn't compile. And then where does it go wrong? Everywhere probably. Everywhere. That's const. So we change this successor here. It's a virtual function. Oh. Yeah. Next batch is not const. Get chunks is neither const. As a data feeder, it's a problem to make it const. No, wait. This input set is, yeah, still calling it input set next batch. These two are not const. They're totally const in this case. Okay, well, at least one thing is not const. The xy vector here is being incremented every time you call create entry, aka every time you call get chunks. So this is non-const. Get chunks is being called from here. Get chunks. To this vertex shader input set base cannot be const if we want to use it. Which means that we cannot pass a const pointer here. Which means I have to undo all my changes. I made changes to a file that I did not want to change to begin with. Right. Did not want to do that. Oh, I solved it. Yeah. Okay, now I'm interested to look at my stocks. Sorry, guys. How do I see the stocks without logging in? Yeah, US dollars. I don't want US dollars. NASDAQ. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah. You always will see that. I wanted to sell it at 608, but it took so long and it went so low that eventually I sold it there. 607.3. And then after that it just went up and up and up and up. Suckage. Well, I'm pretty sure I could buy it again at 607. Definitely. I'm just not sure if I want to. See, tomorrow it opens at 606. And I buy it and then I go all through this. Well, maybe it's gonna go definitely 3 points lower than what it opens. It could open at 606 or 607. Nah, 606 I think. And then go 1, 2, 3 lower, so I could pick it up again at 603. Seems like a good plan. Then I sold it at 607, pick it up at 603. That's it's better. Of course, I should have waited and sold it at 608 like I wanted to. You should just set the limit and not look at it, because every time I look too much, I do something and then later I regret it. I think I'm going to take a break because I need a break. Yeah, it's about to go down, I think, too. That's why I wanted to sell it. Actually, I want to absolutely have it sold before the next rate hike. But that's 1 February, I think. So it's still far away. Far away, like 2 weeks away. It could be stable around above 600 even for the next 2 weeks. But I'm pretty sure it's going to go down at some point to 550 or maybe even lower. Again, out of fear for a recession and stuff like that. Rightfully so. But yeah, the sooner the recession comes, the better. No, yeah, I have had it. Don't have to be afraid for it anymore. Let it crash. I sold all my stocks at the moment. I have none left. So let the recession begin tomorrow. I'm gonna take a break, guys. I'm not even sure if I will be back this evening. Maybe. It's only 8 p.m. here. Okay, see you.